the back will get darker and darker and darker. Matter of fact, the Carolina Rose guitar was just back here for an adjustment, and it was way darker than this.
Really?
It's exactly the same wood. In fact, came out of the same board. Wow. And same finish, so I mean it was way darker. It was hard to compare, really. You know, they didn't even look like the same kind of wood. But it will get darker and darker. That always does that to Duke.
That looks and sounds amazing. The intonation is just unbelievable.
The yellow is Osage orange, cut right here on the farm. This brown is mahogany. And I don't know what the black and white is because that was purchased wood there, and this purfling was purchased also. But the banding around the edges is sycamore that I cut here on the farm, and the strips on the back are the yellow is Osage orange again, the brown is wild cherry cut here on the farm, and the white is maple.
And you made all of it.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I'm making more right now as we speak.
Wow, that is just so cool.
It's yeah, it's made right here. So you all right with it, or?
It's great to talk.
Yeah, that Paduke wood is great wood for building instruments.
Every single person Don knows an email or a phone number for has seen a link to the video.
Oh yeah, you've been, and yeah. So in fact, the guy we work for is sometimes the government guy. He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But when he's very insistent, I think. And so the first time we were coming, he literally said, "No, you're not. I have something for you to do." And Brian and I worked on one of the pods that we fly on the wings of the airplanes. This one was particularly big, but we ended up working almost 20 hours a day for like 7 or 8 days, 9 days maybe, on this thing to get it ready. And the crate it went in was easily from the end of Caleb's desk to probably here, and probably that high and that wide.
Yeah.
And he just wouldn't let us go. And so when we were all done, I sent him a link to the video, and I said, "All right, I want you to go to time mark this, and I want you to listen." And so he did, and it was the point at which you were saying that you were going to keep it. And I said, if I don't get there, he's going to keep this thing. And I'm not. I don't care what you got going.
I seriously would love to.
I know you sounded very serious when you said it.
I'm not exaggerating about that at all. I mean, if you don't want it, I would be happy to give you your deposit back.
The neck is slightly wider than my OM that I play. So it's a little bit.
It's a little wide neck. I will admit to that.
So I'm missing some strings up at the top, especially when we get up here. But this is really nice sound. I'll get used to it.
Put your hand up to that.
Oh yeah. I'm like a little guy.
Don's son Donnie is a good guitarist and a really smart kid, and he's pretty intellectual, likes math and stuff. And so they were talking about how when you tune an instrument, really any string instrument, it's a fixed tuning. It doesn't change.
Right.
So mathematically, when you look at the actual beats per minute of the notes in a chord, you can truly only be 100% in tune for a certain chord or a certain key signature.
Right.
And as you change and you play different chords, there'll be certain notes that are slightly out of tune and you only optimize. So he's big into that. I think he's going to have a kick listening to his guitar.
It's as close as you'll get to getting him as perfect as you can get one. I don't know how to say it any other way. It's, I spend a lot of time on intonation because to me, intonation is the single most important thing, period. I mean, you can build a great guitar. If you don't have the intonation right, it's just kind of mediocre,
Well, that's to me is the difference. Anybody can jazz it up. Anybody can load it with pearl, and they can choose all of the right woods. Right. They can do all of that, and if you play it, and to me, to be perfectly honest,
Yeah.
my test for this guitar is this right here.
Yeah.
If you just put a capo on a guitar up high and it doesn't come out of tune, it's set up right.
Oh yeah. It doesn't get that bad.
Sure.
Wow, that's really cool. It's the twin tail deal. So what do you call that tail?
Yeah, it's just a twin tail with a but it's very unique because it's got the engine in the back and the engine in the front.
So one pushes, one pulls?
Yeah, it's a Dr. Doolittle airplane. Push
That's
you, pull you.
Crazy.
And yeah, and
Very cool.
It's very cool. It's got a lot of modifications to it. It's not a stock one.
Can I look inside? And
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see kind of what we do. Now we don't have most of the radio.
So this big torpedo thing is,
yeah, well, it's a radio.
it's a radio.
Yeah, there's one on the other wing. So this is all custom. So it's all.
And you
it's all
guys designed
certified.
that, or?
I designed the stuff that's in it.
I see.
So the pod comes from another company that makes these for a living.
I see.
But this is, so like this, all this stuff I machine on my machines.
Oh, cool.
So it's all my designs. The electrical stuff inside, the mechanical stuff is all my designs, all the antenna systems and all of that.
Cool.
And the stuff we fly on the other plane is a little bit different. But that's what we fly. And there's one on the other wing too. And so all this stuff we have to have, certified. And
Very cool.
yeah, so this is a fully, this is all, like that's our, it's all digital glass. So we have some old, what they call steam gauges.
Is it, by chance, is it Garmin or is it some other brand?
That one's Aspen.
I see Garmin there on the top
Yeah,
there.
these two are Garmin. These two are from a company called Electronic Instruments, EI. These are digital engine monitors, one for each engine. And
Pretty
these
cool.
are two navigation GPS kind of things. They're basically the same thing. One's a bigger and a smaller version, so primary and a backup. That one over there is our electronic flight, our sort of glass cockpit, the one that looks like a cell phone. That's made by Aspen. And then this is our autopilot. This is S-Tech autopilot.
Cool.
And that slaves that. So all these instruments all communicate. Our ADSB, so when you were tracking us, that's this guy here. So that tells everybody where
Pretty cool.
where everything goes. In the back, see, this is some of the equipment that we
I'll
fly.
let you get, once you get there and you can point that way.
Yeah, so this is our design. This is a power system. So all this stuff I machine. So this is made on our machines, our designs, my mechanical design. I didn't do the sheet metal. A local shop bent it because I don't have any sheet metal capabilities. But the racks, all our design and everything, all these racks. I think the frame was built by the guys who work on our plane.
So just in a synopsis, what is it that you guys actually do so for the YouTube viewers can tell?
We design and build radio systems, and we do radio measurements from the air. So we look for different kinds of signals that are allowed to be there, but need to be profiled, and some that are not allowed to be there, that are not supposed to be there. And we do some commercial work, and we do some and we do some non-commercial work. But when people want to test radio systems or something that have to operate at altitude or in strange environments, then we test them and we can fly them.
One that made sense to me is you said their optical fiber type things give off certain signals, and you guys can tell if the signal's in the wrong wavelength or something, or it's getting into the FCC problem area or something.
Yeah, so there are certain kinds of telecommunications systems that can start operating illegally. Well, not illegally like somebody's trying to break the law, but they can leak out. They can, this old thing when you were a kid, you turn on the blender and it flipped out the TV. Remember that?
Right.
Well, we look for that, but on a more formal basis from systems that should not be leaking out different kinds of signals that interfere with cell phones. Cell phones can operate, their towers can operate in ways that interfere with GPS.
Right.
There are people who run like illegal things like GPS GPS jammers, things like that. And so it's just, we look for all kinds of different things. And
Well, I'm not going to interrupt you too much here, but I got to take a picture of Brian taking
yeah.
pictures of us.
yeah.
So Brian will make it on YouTube now too.
Yeah, good for him. Yeah, so he's the pilot. Now I'm not a pilot.
So yeah, Brian is the pilot here.
Yep. And we have one other pilot, Peter, who's a very old friend of mine I've known for 30-something years. We go way, way back in different businesses over the years. But this is basically what we do, and we do it for, it's not a big business. There's not very many, nobody does it that we're aware of. Not all
Very
of
cool.
what we do.
Very cool. Well, you got your own niche, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
That's pretty cool.
And,
That's a nice looking plane.
yeah, this is pretty cool. You can't pick up chicks in it.
How
but-
old of a plane or year, vintage, whatever?
This is a 1977.
1977.
It is a Cessna pressurized Super Skymaster,
Wow.
a T337G.
Cool.
It's a twin-engine airplane, but you can see it's got one engine on the front and one on the rear.
That is so cool.
The problem with most twin-engine airplanes is if you lose an engine, you have asymmetric thrust.
Right,
It's really hard to
exactly,
deal with. You have to
yeah.
stay above a certain airspeed, and
Right.
people get into trouble if they don't react quickly enough. If we ever lost an engine in this plane, it just becomes a normal airplane,
Yeah.
and you just fly it to the nearest airport.
Cool.
It's very, very safe, very, very easy to fly. Pretty rare. They didn't make too many of them. They haven't made
So,
them since
I mean,
the
this is
80s.
probably a really stupid question, but I guess there's two engines then? One
Yeah,
engine
yeah,
back there and one
separate,
engine up. So an engine on both ends.
Yeah,
Ain't that special?
quite the opposite direction. So,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, but so we have the other one we have is just a single engine.
Oh, an
Probably-
alternator. I know what that is.
Yeah, this one has 3. We use a lot of power on the plane. So
I'll
we
be
use
darned.
A lot of power. So
The
Very
kinds
cool.
of radio pods that we have hanging on these wing stations here are built to be the same size and dimensions as certain drones. So we can build prototype radio equipment, test it, and then when a big, like a surveillance company or a security company wants to go do a bigger deployment of it, they can fly them around on drones. But
Cool.
we do all the early design testing and can build them.
Very
on this
cool.
plane.
This is very cool. Well, thank you for showing me around on the plane. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
next time we'll take you for a ride.
Well, there goes the California guitar, because it's not really a California guitar.